But it does appear that that had something to do with the situation.
Was it a hatch that was bolted, or was it?
Hatch is typically bolted, and it was bolted. And
any indication as to what?
We have not been able to determine what happened that allowed that hatch to be open just yet.
When you talk about the hatch that Snooty was able to get in and not able to get out, was it basically that Snooty drowned, that there was no way for him to get air?
Snooty's undergoing a necropsy at the moment. His veterinarian of over 20 years, Dr. Dave Murphy, and the Florida Fish and Wildlife were with us first thing this morning. We don't have the details back from that necropsy just yet. So as soon as we have information, we will share that.
What's the size of this area where he got stuck?
The hatch itself is big enough for a 1,300-pound manatee to get in. It actually branches off in two directions. There's space underneath there where the plumbing moves in both sides. So think of it as a small hallway that's not attached to the rest of the tank.
Perhaps just too narrow that he couldn't get himself turned around?
It appears that he was not able to turn himself back around to get himself out of the situation.
Jeff, has this ever happened with the manatees before, where they somehow got in this access?
No. Never has this been an issue with us before. We had no reason to think that it would be an issue today, and we're investigating the situation fully. I will let you know that the three young manatees that are in our care, the very first thing we did was secure the situation to make sure that they are safe and secure, and we can confirm that that is the case.
What were the signs? You say Snooty was supposed to turn himself around. Can you give us a comparison in size that Snooty was in comparison to the others that were able to turn?
Our young manatees are coming in at around 500 and 600 pounds. Snooty's at about 1,300 pounds. He's more than twice their size.
So the other manatees there, they just spent time rehabbing there, but Snooty was your resident manatee that you keep there. Do you see plans of having another resident manatee here?
We're still processing Snooty's loss right now. We don't know if we'll have another resident manatee. We are committed to continuing our role in the manatee rehabilitation program. That will be ongoing for sure, and we see that indefinitely into the future.
Jeff, you're not ruling out some sort of malicious act, that sounds like.
I'm certainly ruling out anything malicious. There's no indication of any foul play or anything malicious happening here. It was simply a heartbreaking accident.
Moving forward, do you think that you're going to look, I mean, obviously it's early in the investigation, but moving forward, you're going to look at that hatch and see if there's a different way to secure it, perhaps?
Absolutely. What we know is the hatch cannot be pushed in. It can only fall back out, so it was designed so that manatees could not push through it. We're really not sure what happened, but once we have a better fix on what did happen with that hatch, we assure you that we'll make sure that that hatch does not come open unless it's opened the way it's supposed to be in the future.
Moving forward to now with the agreement, what is happening at the facility today as far as people visiting, as far as the actually going to see Snooty and all that?
We've been greeting people at the front door to share the heartbreaking news with them as they came in, talking with the adults so that they could break the news to their children as they saw fit. Aquarium staff is heartbroken, and we are working with them as well to help with the emotional situation, but they are actively caring for our three rehab manatees today, so life goes on for those manatees. The aquarium is not open to the public today. That's behind closed doors, and we are just making sure that the manatees and our staff are well cared for.
Did the live camera that y'all have in there capture anything?
We'll be looking at all the footage that we have on there. The Snooty cam is turned off overnight, so the Snooty cam would not have anything to show. We do have other security cameras, but they don't work in the dark, and we're not sure what we might be able to see underwater, but we will be reviewing any video evidence that we have to see if it gives us any information.
From us standing out in front, out by the photo that was there were people who were coming up who were really shocked and upset about this. I mean, how important is Snooty to this community?
Snooty's very important to this community. He's been with us for 68 years. Generations have grown up with that manatee. The emotional outpourings that we heard today, well, we grieve right along with these folks. We were giving out a lot of hugs on the front porch of the museum today as people were coming in. A lot of people loved that manatee. We loved him too. You all are here because you recognize that our community had a place for this manatee, and we're very saddened by his loss, as lots of other people are.
Were there any apparent injuries, minor injuries to the rescue manatees, or rehab manatees, I mean?
No injuries to the other manatees. It seems like they were able to get in and out of the space, no problem. Okay. Well, thank you all very much. Jessica?
I'll just add one more thing. As we mentioned, Snooty has been sent for a necropsy under the care of Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation, as well as his veterinarian of more than 20 years. While, of course, they will be investigating some of the circumstances of his death, they will also be looking into everything we can learn from Snooty's incredible lifespan, his longevity, everything that can teach us about manatees, and that could contribute to the care of manatees in the future, as well as our general knowledge of manatees. We're not sure at this time.
But he was the oldest living manatee that has ever been reported?
He was definitely certified as the oldest manatee in captivity, and as far as any records we have on manatees in the wild, living or that have passed away, we believe him to be the oldest on record anywhere.
Can you speak to what the kind of average, I mean, he had just turned 69, 2 days ago?
Right.
So what's the average lifespan of a wild manatee, and kind of what's a remarkable age for a captive manatee to reach?
Well, manatees in the wild face a lot of environmental as well as human impacts. Right now, the general knowledge is that manatees in the wild are lucky to make it into their teen years. We certainly have information that they can have lifespans into their 40s, and maybe even a little beyond that. But from what we're seeing, Snooty, as we said, Snooty is the oldest we know of. There are some manatees at other facilities who have been in human care throughout their lives, and they are also living longer lives than we typically see with manatees in the wild. But Snooty was really helping us to understand how long manatees possibly could live.
Jessica, have you received any notes of condolence from any of the governor, perhaps? Anybody like that?
I'm not sure at this time who we have received condolences from. That's still ongoing, and obviously we've been very focused on our job, caring for our staff, caring for the manatees, and getting information going today, so I can't directly address who we've received condolences from yet.
Aquarium closed for how long? Do you have any indication at this point?
I can't say right now. The aquarium will be closed today, and the museum is closed tomorrow. That's just our regularly scheduled day of closing. So we'll have information coming out about when the aquarium might be open in future days.
What about any sort of plans for any memorials? Is there anything for the public?
We will certainly be planning ways for the public and for all the people locally and around the world who love Snooty to share their memories. We'll be coming up with those plans, and we will be sharing that with the public as they start to take form.
Do you think this is going to affect business at all?
We're not really focusing on that right now. We will continue our manatee rehab program into the future and Snooty's legacy, and that is something that I think Snooty and everyone at the museum is very proud of. But right now we're not really thinking that far. And I think that's going to be our last question for now. Thank you all for coming out. And as I said, we'll be sharing more information as it's available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question. I don't know perfect.
Thanks, Jessica.